Hey there, you just clicked on First Down Punts. Nice move. This is a podcast about football and how it relates to fantasy football. Hope you like what you hear. We're going to get this thing started. Let's get crazy. And welcome in, everyone, to another episode of First Down Punts. I'm your host, Coach Chris. Today, we're going to be going over the rest of the games for Week 12, as well as some injury updates before we get into our starts and sits / sneaky starts. Josh Jacobs came out. He's going to be a game time decision for the Packers game versus the Vikings on Sunday. Definitely something you need to prepare for. It is a 1 o'clock game, so you'll know firsthand. You won't have to worry about waiting until a 4 o'clock game or late night game and be worried if he's not going to play, what are you going to do? But something to definitely check when those inactive lists come out an hour and a half before the game. Brian Thomas, the Jags wide receiver, has been ruled out again. Same for Bucky Irving for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But Chris Godwin will play, so that's a bump for Baker. I can tell you that much. Charvarius Ward, corner for the Colts, is returning from IR, which is great news. He'll be on the other side of Sauce Gardner, and that Colts defense just got a lot better getting Ward back. The rookie Billy Bowman there for the Atlanta Falcons, he's been placed on IR with an Achilles injury, out for at least 4 weeks. It sounds a lot more severe, so I'm guessing he could be out for the season, but definitely going to hurt that pass defense, which there wasn't much of last week. Brenton Strange is coming off IR and is questionable for Sunday. There's no guarantee he's going to play, but we'll get into him when we get into that Jags game and talk about our starts and everything. 49ers kicker Eddie Pinheiro is out this week. Something you need to know. They signed Matt Gay, I think it was, Tuesday or Wednesday, to the practice squad. They're going to be promoting him after getting cut by the Commanders. He will be kicking for the 49ers this Sunday. No Joe Burrow. There was progress this week in his practice habits, but he is out this week, so Flacco will get one more start before the possibility of Burrow returning in Week 13. No Marvin Harrison for the Cardinals this week again with that appendectomy surgery. He's going to be out for a second week. Darius Slayton for the Giants is set to play versus the Lions, but Jackson Dart will be out again with that concussion, so Jameis Winston gets his second start. Isaiah Pacheco for the Chiefs, still out. There was hope that he'd be back this week. Hell, there was hope that he'd be back last week, but yet to return. He had a full practice on Wednesday, then it got downgraded on Thursday to a limited, and as well on Friday. Friday it was a limited. Daniel Jones, Colts quarterback. While we're talking about Colts with Charvarius Ward coming back, Daniel Jones got banged up. I think it was in Wednesday's practice with a quad. It might have been in Thursday's practice. He was full, and then he was limited the next day. Definitely something to pay attention to, but he is expected to play, so I don't see him running a lot, but I do see him playing on Sunday for you. Another quarterback injury, the wrist for Aaron Rodgers. There's hope that he's going to play on Sunday, and it's a high possibility that he does. They'll probably run a little bit more. The Bears are missing all their linebackers in that game, so it's definitely something to be paying attention to. It's his non-throwing arm, so it's really about, can he protect it? Can they protect it with a brace, and can he do his best not to fall on it again? Ramondre Stevenson is back for the Patriots. That puts a damper on the Travion Henderson breakout going on right now, because Mike Vrabel's going to use Stevenson. Probably still a touchdown from him and could possibly be on the field a lot. They were using him a lot before Henderson started going off when Stevenson was out, before Stevenson went out. Now that he's back, I'm expecting him to be involved. Probably a flex-worthy player, but just something to know when you're a Travion Henderson owner. And then for the Eagles, Cam Jurgens, the center, will play tomorrow. Lane Johnson will not. He is going to be out for a few weeks, like we talked about, with that high ankle sprain. But Cam Jurgens will be there, so they're only going to be missing the one offensive lineman. But definitely Lane Johnson's a big hole there on the right side. The Fred Johnson guy is replacing him. He did an admirable job, but full game, we'll see what's going on for tomorrow's game. And then on Thursday, the Texans beat the Bills. Josh Allen had 0 touchdowns for the second time this year. It was quite the game. I mean, Houston's defense was impeccable. Sacked Josh Allen 8 times, most in his career in a game, obviously. Will Anderson was going crazy. Daniel Hunter was going crazy. They got 2 interceptions off of Josh Allen, plus they made Khalil Shakir fumble after catching a pass. So the Houston defense is a standout from Thursday Night Football. Definitely not a defense you want to be facing up against. And what has been helping them win the games they have won with the lack of offense that's been produced by the Houston Texans this year. Although Davis Mills has played well I think he's 3-0 now in his 3 starts. So Davis Mills has been playing. Jaden Higgins had a nice little breakout game for him for the cup. He's been coming on the last few weeks, and he's a guy that I think you continue to flex into a spot going forward. So Nico down day. Dalton Schultz only had 1 catch. Woody Marks had the opportunities, had the yards, just didn't get the touchdown. Nick Chubb didn't get a touchdown either, but he definitely got brought in to steal one from him for Woody Marks, and that was a little upsetting. But at the end of the day, neither of them got the touchdown. Mills ends up throwing one to Christian Kirk and Jaden Higgins as well. So definitely something to look forward. C.J. Stroud may be back next week. He may not. Check the practice reports coming out Wednesday. See what you're hearing. Obviously, I'll be letting you guys know in our videos what we find out. But at the end of the day, Bills get the win. Our Bills take the loss and have lost 4 of their last 7 games. All 4 of their losses have come in the last 7 games. And it's something I got to start worrying about because the defense isn't able to hold up if the offense can't put up points. That was the case on Thursday. Wondering what's going to happen with the Bills. It's not good for the outlook for the playoffs. I still expect them to make the playoffs, but they're trailing in their own division by, 2 games now? Plus, I think they lost to the Patriots too. So, 2.5 games or whatever you want to say. Definitely not a position you want to be in when you were the defending champ of the AFC East. Now you're trailing the Patriots, who are 9-2 and have a winnable game coming up this Sunday. Into Sunday's games, our 1 o'clock games. We have the Giants 2-9 taking on the Lions, who are 6-4. Lions got to get their shit together. Most importantly, I mean, that's the gist of it. If they don't, they're going to be in trouble. Not necessarily against the Giants, but over the course of the season. Sam Laporta, he had decided to have back surgery and is going to be out for the season. Not a good look for the Lions, not having him on the roster for the rest of the year. Not even going to be back for the playoffs or anything like that. So that's something definitely to pay attention to. See how Goff's playing without that tight end option. I expect him to try to run the ball a little bit more. Normal starts, Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Jameson Williams is in the start category now because since Laporta's been out, or even before Laporta went out, he's been coming on in the second half. Now that Laporta's out, he's even more needed. So I think you can go ahead and be comfortable starting him. Obviously, Jahmyr Gibbs. Montgomery's a flex player. The Detroit defense is a flex player this week because if you want to start him, I think you should feel comfortable against that Giants offense with no Jackson Dart. For the other side, Jameis Winston, I still don't want to start him. Obviously, if you're desperate in a 2 QB league, you can. There's always a chance he throws for 300, 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, but I imagine he'll have a couple interceptions in that situation too. But this is a game I expect the Giants to win. Tyrone Tracy, you could flex him. Singletary as well, being he's the goal line back, but not something I'm recommending. Darius Slayton will be back for this game, so that's great news for the Giants offense. My sneaky start for this game, though, Khalif Raymond. Raymond is going to be necessary on those shorter routes, underneath routes, where Laporta would usually fill in. I do expect them to try to run the ball more, especially against this Giants front, who's better at pass rush than they are run defense. But at the end of the day, man, Khalif Raymond, between his punt returns and the necessity to get him involved, because Tesla just isn't doing it. I'm sorry to tell you, Lions fans, I didn't like it when we traded 3 third-round picks for him. I still don't like it when the guy's got 4 catches on the season. That's a bad move. I don't care who you are. I don't care what team your favorite team is. You watch a team trade 3 third-round picks that tells me all the time we can't mortgage the future for a guy to move up, 24 picks or something like that this year in the draft, who has 4 catches on the season. Now, I don't believe in forcing him the ball just to prove that they were right with the move. I'm glad that they're not forcing him on the field if he's not ready to be. But we were told he was going to be ready day 1, and he is not. And if we ever needed him, now's the time. But as you can see, my sneaky start is Khalif Raymond. That's how I feel about that, because Tesla has not fit the bill for what I was sold. That's all there is to it. Next game, Colts 8-2 take on the Chiefs 5-5. The Chiefs should be in desperation mode right now. I don't know if they are, but they damn sure should be. Because at 5-5 in a division where the Broncos are 9-2, on a bye this week, just living comfortably. The Chiefs lost last week. They got to get it together. The problem is the Colts have a really good defense, especially getting Sauce over there with Charvarius Ward coming back. It's going to be tough going for both of these teams. The Chiefs obviously have a good defense. Daniel Jones, like we talked about, he's got a quad injury now, but he will play. I expect to see a lot of Jonathan Taylor, And I expect to see a lot of Pat Mahomes on the other side doing a little running himself, simply for the fact that they have to win this game. If they fall to 5-6, their odds of making the playoffs are going to drop dramatically with the other teams in AFC already doing well. Now, obviously, if a bunch of AFC teams lose that are ahead of them, it doesn't kill them as much. But right now, the Chiefs got to win this game. I'm looking for that to happen. I expect it to happen. But, hey, man, like I said, I've been wrong about the Colts all year. I did not see this season coming. I did not see this win total coming. I'm here to admit that. Apologies for you. Daniel Jones has been struggling the last few weeks. This might be a game he struggles in. So starts and sits for this game. Obviously, on the Chiefs side, I'm starting Mahomes. I'm starting Rashee Rice. And I think this is a Travis Kelce game, so I think you should feel comfortable putting him in there. Right now, he is currently the third-ranked tight end in overall fantasy in my home league. I think he's like second in some leagues, fourth in other leagues. But for everybody expected a Kelce downfall, part of it is he's still good. He's just not as fast as he used to be. He still understands how to catch the damn ball most of the time, other than those couple tip passes for interceptions. But he is still one of Pat Mahomes' favorite targets. And as long as that's the case, the same with Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson, he's one of his favorite targets, especially in the red zone, especially on third downs when they're desperate. They need a first down. You go to a guy you trust. So I'm going to trust Kelce. He gets it done this week. Flex players for the Chiefs. I don't want to start Xavier Worthy, so I'm not even recommending him. Kareem Hunt, I think you can always flex him. I mean, hell, you could probably start him as a number 2 just because of the touchdown opportunity. But against a tougher defense, there might not be as much. This may be more of a field goal game. If that's the case, then so be it. But the Chiefs defense, Harrison Butker, I'm willing to start both of them, even against a good offense like the Colts. Like I said, Jones has been struggling the last couple of weeks. Now he's got a quad injury. Chiefs are desperate. Back an animal to a corner. It's going to come out biting. Right now, I feel like that's the Chiefs. On the Colts side, starts for this game, Jonathan Taylor, definitely. I think you could start Tyler Warren, no problem. And Alec Pierce is probably more of a flex. Michael Pittman, I think, is more of a flex this week as well. If you need Pittman, start him. He's been good. He's been way better than I expected. Like I said, the Colts have been better than I expected. But both of those players I'm willing to put into a lineup because they're going to need them to catch passes. I don't know how much time they'll have compared to normal for the Colts to get those downfield passes to Alec Pierce. But all he's got to do is catch one for a touchdown, and he's worthy of the flex. Sits for this game for the Chiefs, Xavier Worthy, not starting him. Brashard Smith, not dealing with that. And Hollywood Brown, I don't want to put him in there. For the Colts, I would sit basically Daniel Jones, I think you can still flex, but it's a dangerous to me this week. I think Daniel Jones is definitely a low-end number 2 QB simply because we can't count on, even though he hasn't been running a lot, he still had that option without dealing with a quad injury. Now I see that less likely. This is a game I think he might need to run in, and being that he probably won't be able to, he's a low-end flex, super flex guy for me. But on the sit side for him, I don't really want to start. There ain't really a lot of I don't really want to start the Colts defense. I can't even say that. Another flex player like the Colts defense, I'm willing to flex them as well. A sneaky start for this game, though, is Josh Downs. I think they're going to need him and Tyler Warren on those underneath routes with Chris Jones applying pressure along with Kalafdis and all those guys they got on that defensive line. The blitzers they bring with Spagnuolo there, just sending the house sometimes. Those underneath routes for the Colts are going to matter most, which is going to be to Tyler Warren and Josh Downs. I think Josh Downs is the sneaky start this week. Steelers 6-4 versus the Bears, who are 7-3, surprisingly. Like I said earlier, they have no starting linebackers. All 3 of their starting linebackers are out this week. That's going to be beneficial for those running backs and tight ends. That's just all there is to it. Now, maybe Mason Rudolph's starting, maybe Aaron Rodgers starting. If you want me to be honest, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to start simply because he knows this could be his last season. With a left wrist injury, it's not the same as if it was on his throwing hand. I believe Aaron Rodgers is going to start tomorrow. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not. But at the end of the day, Steelers take on the Bears. I know a lot of people aren't big on Metcalf, and this is probably not the week with Rodgers banged up. I think he's more of a flex player. Jaylen Warren is going to play, so I'm starting him. And I'm starting – I don't know, starting this. The only person I'm really confident starting from the Steelers is Jaylen Warren. Flex players for them, DK Metcalf. Aaron Rodgers, if he starts, you could put him in as a number 2 QB, but I'm really looking for a better option if I can. I don't like the chance of him leaving the game in the middle of the game. So that's always something to consider when you're starting Aaron Rodgers, that when he's dealing with this injury, that if he lands wrong on it, gets hit with a helmet on his wrist or something, there's a chance he leaves the game, and then you're shit out of luck, basically. Metcalf, though, I am going to start. I'm going to flex Freiermuth. Kenny Gainwell is like the deepest of leagues because I believe he will be involved, especially with Warren getting banged up a little bit. They're not going to try to overload him. So I think you're okay flexing Kenny Gainwell. It's just going to be on the lower end of a flex option. Sits for them. I don't want to deal with any other Pittsburgh Steelers wide receivers. That's just all there is to it. Boswell, you could still start Boswell, I believe, for the kicker there. The Pittsburgh's defense, the way they've been playing, I think you almost have to start them, especially against a guy like Caleb Williams who could fall apart at any moment if something goes wrong, starts going wrong. We've seen his mental breakdown, but he's been balling out lately, not necessarily statistically, but definitely just being able to get some wins out of this team. The defense is helping, the run game's helping, but it could go awry at any moment with Caleb Williams, and that's what I've always been feared. That's why I didn't have the Bears predicted for a shit ton of wins. They're definitely impressing me right now, but there's still a lot of season left. We'll see what happens. Starts for them, though. Obviously, I'm starting DeAndre Swift the way he's been playing. Rome Odunze, I'm starting. Caleb Williams is more of a flex. So flex guys, I put Caleb Williams. DJ Moore is just, he hasn't been good enough. Luther Burden's been coming on, but it's like they're splitting opportunities, and I don't really want to start either of them. If I had to choose one, I would pick DJ Moore, but pay attention to what Luther Burden does this week. Colston Loveland is getting 8 with Komet back. He's getting they're kind of splitting opportunities again. So it's like, do I really want to start either of them? Probably not. If I was going to start one of them, it would honestly probably be Cole Komet this week. I think he's going to be on the field more, necessary for blocking, plays get changed, play action, whatever. Komet becomes that little safety option for Caleb Williams to get rid of. Loveland, they're looking for bigger plays with him. So I think it'll be more of a Cole Komet week, just a heads up on that. Manangai, I don't know if I'd start him this week in a flex spot. I think he's more of a sit this week. So, sneaky start for this game, though, would have to be Darnell Washington, that big monster. Hey, he was on the St. Brown podcast this week, said he's 3'11 right now, moving like that. So, credit to Washington for being a hell of an athlete. But honestly, I think all the Steelers tight ends, Freiermuth, Jonnu Smith, and Darnell Washington, have an opportunity to do something in this game. We've seen all three of them score before. Against a team with no linebackers, if there's not an opportunity for these tight ends to score, like I'm surprised Jonnu Smith has been used more, but it's been Freiermuth or Washington the last few weeks. So I think Washington's going to be your sneaky start for this game. Patriots 9-2 versus the Bengals 3-7. Like we talked about, Joe Burrow will not be back this week. There was hope that he would. Jamar Chase is suspended, and it's definitely going to be looking like a T. Higgins day. Mike Gesicki came off our IR this week, so that's an interesting thing. But starts for this game for the Bengals, Chase Brown is definitely going in. T. Higgins is definitely going in. Other than that, it's more of a flex appeal or sits for them. Flacco, I don't know if I want to start this week at all. I know in 2 QB leagues you're probably going to have to. But without Jamar Chase, that definitely hurts that options. Noah Fant, I can't start him this week with the news that Mike Gesicki's back, so that's something to pay attention to. Samaje Perine's still out, so you're not interested in him. Andre Iosivas, I know everybody's excited about him. I don't want to start. I don't even want to flex him this week. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's just a hunch of mine. On the other side, starts for the Patriots, Drake May, Stephon Diggs. Hunter Henry should be started this week, most definitely. Travion and Ramondre become flex players because I believe they're going to be splitting again. As much as we love Travion Henderson and what he can do, I believe Mike Vrabel wants to have them limited opportunities just to keep them both fresh, both healthy. If that's the case, we're going to find out real quick whether or not Vrabel's ready to make that change to make Henderson the full-time starter. But I can't recommend saying you have to force him into your first or second running back spot with the news that Ramondre is going to be back. Kayshon Boutte will be back this week. I'm not willing to flex him yet, but it definitely hurts all those other receiving options. The Patriots D, yes, I'm starting. The Bengals D, no thank you. Both kickers are worthy of – I believe Borregales, as much as I don't like the guy, and it's nothing personal, it's just that I can't trust him. He's been doing well lately. He did miss one a couple weeks ago, but for the most part, he's been a decent kicker. And against his Bengals offense, he's probably going to get a lot of extra points and definitely some opportunities to kick some field goals. I think you're okay starting him this week. And then on the other side with McPherson, I don't think I would want to start him this week. With no Jamar Chase, a hell of a defense by the Patriots, going to slow that offense down probably. I think that you're better off avoiding McPherson this week. My sneaky start for this game, though, for the Patriots, or for my sneaky start for this game, though, it is Mike Gesicki. I think they're going to use him as a big slot receiver. Like I've always said, it's who I believe Colston Loveland is Mike Gesicki. Much better hands, probably. A little bit better of an athlete, but that's who he reminds me of why I wasn't big on when the Bears drafted him at 10. Thought they should have took Tyler Warren. They didn't, whatever. But at the end of the day, Mike Gesicki can get loose. Joe, they're going to need some receiving options. That's why I'm not big on Josephus, because with Mike Gesicki coming back, I believe he's going to be that option for Flacco, that secondary guy that he can throw to. If he's going to be on the field enough, he's going to be worthy of a tight end start this week. So, next game, the Jets, 2-8, take on the 5-5 Ravens. This is a game the Ravens need. Jets, they've only got the 2 wins this season. They've made the change to Tyrod Taylor. He's been named a starter. Justin Fields is on the bench. Definitely something to be paying attention to. Garrett Wilson's still out, but I think Tyrod Taylor will kind of help with the consistency of the offense. It won't be sporadic. Do I think they're going to be much better as an offensive game plan? Maybe, maybe not. I don't personally believe there's going to be that big of a difference because Tyrod Taylor can't do what Justin Fields can do with his legs, but he is a better passer right now. That's just all there is to it. So I think that's going to help some of those passing options. Starts for this game from the Jets, it's Breece Hall. Flex players, I think you can flex both Mason Taylor and the Jets defense just because of the kick return game. They're going to get opportunities, and we've seen them already return some kicks this year, but they're leading the league right now in kick return yards. So if you get kick return yards for your defense, they're definitely worthy of a flex player. Rest of the Jets, I'm not willing to get in on. I don't want not willing to start Tyrod Taylor. Isaiah Davis just not doing enough. Mason Taylor, like I said, I think he's going to have a fine day. Jeremy Ruckert, no thanks. On the other side for the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, absolutely yes. Flex players, Mark Andrews, yes, because he, although touchdown dependent most weeks, he's still, like I said, Lamar's favorite target, and they get into the red zone, he looks for Andrews. That's all there is to it, guys. Bateman is still out this week, so not willing to start Hopkins, not really willing to start anybody else on this team. The Baltimore defense, obviously, and Tyler Loop, yes, getting your lineups. But my sneaky start for this game is Jets wide receiver, new wide receiver, Adonai Mitchell. Although didn't have a great performance last week, was involved, looked good getting open. He's got to complete the catch, and it would help if he had a better pass coming to him. I think both of those things will happen this week. And Adonai Mitchell is a guy you could flex and be happy to have in your lineup. Seahawks 7-3 versus the Titans 1-9. Big news for the Titans, like we talked about with our injury news. Calvin Ridley broke his fibula; he is out for the season. Chimere Diki is questionable. Alec Omener is questionable coming in this game. They don't have a lot of receiving options going on. That's why I was talking about Chigga and Gunnar Helm. I think both of those guys could be worthy of a desperation flex play if you're at it. If you need a tight end, somebody's on a bye. Out of the two, I'd probably take Gunnar Helm. I think he's going to be a big slot player in this game. Restrepo does worry me a little bit, but not really willing to start any of those other wide receivers. Van Jefferson could be a sneaky start, but not who I was going to pick for this game. On the other side, for the Seahawks, Sam Darnold, yes. JSN, obviously, yes. A.J. Barner, yes, I'm starting A.J. Barner this week. Ken Walker, starting Ken Walker this week. Seattle's defense is probably the start of the week for defenses, in all honesty. Maybe the Raiders, but we'll get into that. But definitely the Seahawks defense you want to get, and Jason Myers, the kicker there. Like I said, I'm a big fan of his, always have been. Had a rough week a couple weeks ago, but he's still a good-ass kicker, good vet, and to someone you can count on. My sneaky start for this game is going to be Xavier Restrepo. It's going to be his first time active. They need receiving options. They need receiving options so desperately. That the connection between Cam Ward and Restrepo, I'm not sure what kind of plays they're going to draw for him. I expect them to use him as more of a weapon, coming out the backfield as a receiving option, slot guy on crossers, little zig routes and stuff. Maybe as a returner, possibly. It's just something I'm waiting to see. I'm excited to see Restrepo finally get on the field, especially with the connection he already has with Cam Ward there. I'm not willing to start Cam Ward in this game, but it's just something to look at going forward and something to pay attention to. This is the desperation of all desperation sneaky starts, which is Xavier Restrepo. But what if it actually works? That's how I look at it. So, You guys decide if you want to get into that bag. The last 1 p.m. game, the NFC North rivals, Vikings 4-6 take on the Packers 6-3-1. Talked about Josh Jacobs already. He is going to be a game time decision. They're going to check him out before the game. Even if he plays, he's going to be limited. That's just all there is to it. I think personally they should keep him out, but they can't really afford to lose this game. So it's definitely going to be interesting what they do. I think they need him to play, especially against the Vikings defense that can play tough at times. Jordan Love has not been great. He actually left the game last week. Malik Willis came in and threw a touchdown to Christian Watson. That was nice for me. But at the end of the day, Jordan Love has to start playing better if they want to make the playoffs and make any kind of run. Is this the game? I don't believe so, especially if Jacobs is out. Starts for this game, though. Jordan Love is a flex. He's like a QB2 for me. So that's just a heads up on that. If Jacobs plays, absolutely. If Jacobs doesn't play, I start Emmanuel Wilson because the Packers running back situation is a valuable piece in fantasy. Whether it's Jacobs, whether it's Wilson, whether Chris Brooks comes in and does something, to me it doesn't matter. I feel like that LaFleur running game is a very valuable part of NFL fantasy football. So if Jacobs is out, I'm definitely starting Emmanuel Wilson. If Jacobs is not, he's more of a flex, sneaky start kind of guy for me. But Christian Watson got those 2 touchdowns last week. I think you can go ahead and start him this week. No Tucker Kraft, not interested in any of those other tight ends. I was hoping Luke Musgrave would be the guy, but it ended up being, I think Fitzpatrick caught a touchdown a couple weeks ago. It's just a mess right there. It's kind of like some of these other teams where they don't got a defined tight end, and so they're using multiple options. That's the case with this. Not really want to start any of them. McManus, no thanks. The Green Bay defense, you could probably start against J.J. McCarthy. I think with that pass rush, being able to get to him. Although the Vikings are getting center Ryan Kelly back this week, so that should definitely help out that offensive line in Minnesota. We will see what happens in this game. But on Vikings side, not starting McCarthy. Justin Jefferson is always a start. I don't care who you are. I know he's not been great, but he's still been good enough to get you some points. And to me, Justin Jefferson is either the best or the second best wide receiver in the NFL. And I can't sit that guy. That's all there is to it. Aaron Jones, I think you should get in your lineup, no doubt. Flex players, Hockenson, I just can't trust anymore. Jordan Addison is definitely a flex player. Jordan Mason could be a flex player because they try to run it more, especially against this Green Bay defense. It could be ran on more than they can be passed on. I think that Mason could be involved in this game, but not recommending him unless you are just desperate and need a running back for your flex spot. Kicker, Will Reichert, only had the 1 field goal last week, but this guy's a hell of a kicker. I'm going to continue to start him. Minnesota's defense, yes, I'm willing to start them still. I know it's not the best matchup, but if Jacobs is out, I'm definitely willing to get him in my lineup. And if Jacobs is there, he's still going to be banged up, going to be limited. And Jordan Love hasn't been playing great. Matthew Golden, I don't even know if he's playing this game, so that's a heads up on that. Romeo Doubs, he's always a flex player right now. Sneaky start for this game, though, is Emmanuel Wilson because, like I said, even if he doesn't get the start, he's still going to be involved enough with Jacobs banged up that I think you could get some points out of him, possibly get a touchdown, definitely get a couple catches, and be worthy of a deep league flex start. Next game, 4 p.m. games. Jaguars take on the Cardinals. The Jags are currently 6-4 versus the Cardinals, who are 3-7. We know Kyler Murray's on IR. Like we talked about, Marvin Harrison is out again this week. Starts of this game, I'm willing to start Brissett. I mean, that's just all there is to it. He's been balling out. He's been throwing for tons of yards, a couple touchdowns a game. Even with turnovers, you're still getting plenty of points. And Michael Wilson, after that 18 target, 15 catch day last week, I absolutely would start him. I'm starting him in my home league. I'm starting him in a couple other leagues for the simple fact that you get 18 targets, I'm going to pay attention. With no Marvin Harrison, I still believe Trey McBride to start for this game. But Michael Wilson is, like I said, I've never been a huge fan of his. Last 4 weeks, he's been involved. Or last 3 weeks, he's definitely been involved. Last week, he had a big blow-up game with no Harrison. I expect Brissett to go back to that well and keep feeding him. So get him in your lineups. Flex players for the Cardinals, Greg Dortch, absolutely. Bam Knight with the news that Amari DeMercado is out. Bam Knight's worthy of a start in this game. And then the Arizona defense, if you're desperate, I just don't, man, it's hard to trust him. I'm not sure if Walter Nolan's playing this week. I got to check that out still. I think Arizona is a deeper league start for a defense. That's just all there is to it. And then Chad Ryland, the kicker there, you can always put him in your lineup. On the Jag side, definitely starting Parker Washington again. I know he didn't have a huge day last week. The week before, he did great. I'm putting Parker Washington back in my lineup. Other than that, Travis Etienne, I'm still starting him, but he's more of a flex play for me this week with Bashal Tootin. He is active, or he will be active. He is going to play. He got banged up in last week's game. But Bashal Tootin they were basically splitting the carries, and it felt like Tootin was taking over the role. So Etienne and Tootin are both flex players to me. Jacoby Myers, flex player. Trevor Lawrence, flex player. The Jags defense, that's a questionable one. They've played well. They've been a good defense for the majority of the season. I think they'll be fine in this game. I just don't expect them to have a huge game. So something to consider. If you have a better option, I would probably try to get them in there. And then kickers for the Jags, Cam Little. You can go ahead and start him every week and just hope that he has a great week. But he's going to have opportunities. The Jags can't always get into the end zone, and that's definitely going to give him some opportunities. The sneaky start for this game, if active, Brenton Strange, get him in your lineups at tight end. Like I said, he came off IR. He's still questionable coming into this game. If he is active, I would put Brenton Strange in my lineup immediately. Trevor Lawrence has a good connection with him. He was doing well before he went on IR. I think you could put him right back in that tight end slot and be fine. Next game, the 2-8 Browns versus the 2-8 Raiders. This is a battle for who gets to pick inside the top five, or who gets to pick first in the top five, I should say. Shedeur Sanders will be starting for the Browns. The only recommendation start I can make is Quinshon Judkins, and that's even scary. Flex players, Harold Fannin, David Njoku. That's it. I don't want to start anybody else from the Browns. No, thank you on Shedeur. This guy's got a lot to prove to me and everybody else, I believe. Obviously, he's confident in himself, but he didn't look very good last week when he came in. I'm not expecting much either, and Max Crosby's probably going to be a headache all damn day. So, like I said, I'm not willing to start any other Browns except for the defense. The defense, I am absolutely starting against Geno Smith and the Raiders offense because Myles Garrett is fucking unbelievable. That's just all there is to it. He is the best defensive player in the NFL right now. I know, TJ Watt's a better. No, he's not. Myles Garrett is a monster. Myles Garrett is terrifying. And Mason Graham on that defensive line is only helping him. And like I said, Cleveland and Raiders defense, I'm starting them both this week. That's just all. I believe that Geno's going to struggle against his defense with that pass rush and that poor offensive line. Chip Kelly refuses to keep players in to help him. So why would I expect anything to be different? I believe Chip Kelly should have been fired 4 weeks ago. I believe Pete Carroll is making a mistake trying to stay loyal to his buddy. And when at the end of the day, you're costing him, man. He's got players doing dumbass shit out there. Guys are not prepared. You got rookie offensive linemen that you can't even put in the game. Then why'd you draft them? Who is coaching these guys up? There's a lot of questions going on with the Raiders. That's why I'm damn sure willing to start the Browns and get them in my lineup if possible. But at the end of the day, Geno, I'm not starting him. Not even as a flex player. Genty is more of a flex player this game because I don't know how well the Raiders offense is going to do. Brock Bowers, Trey Tucker. Brock Bowers, I'm starting every week. He's healthy. Trey Tucker's more of a flex player this week. Not willing to start any of those other players on the Raiders. I don't even want to mess with the kicker, Daniel Carlson, this week. I think this is going to be a low-scoring affair. I think this is going to be a tough game for both offenses, and the defenses are really the players you should start. If the Browns are going to have success, it's going to be with Quinshon Judkins and Harold Fannin. If the Raiders are going to have success, it's going to be because of Brock Bowers and Ashton Genty. I mean, that's the gist of it. The starting tight end, the starting wide and running back for these games are really the only players I want to get besides the defenses. And even those are scary starts. Just something to keep in mind when you're going in this game. Falcons 3-7, starting Kirk Cousins. Take on the Saints 2-8, who have been playing better. I tried to tell you guys about Tyler Shuck. Is he winning a bunch of games right now? No, but he looks so much better than Spencer Rattler did as a quarterback. And that is helping these receiving options have more consistency. Juwan Johnson has come back. Alvin Kamara is getting catches, although he's questionable, something to pay attention to. If he doesn't play, it's going to be scary. Like Devin Neal's obviously going to be involved, but I think it'll be more of Taysom Hill that'll be involved at running back, and they probably won't run a lot. They'll probably throw more. Kellen Moore loves passing the ball anyways, and Tyler Shuck has been doing well enough to be worthy of a deep league flex start as a number 2 QB. But players I'm starting Chris Olave, I'm starting Juwan Johnson for the Saints. With Shuck, like I said, he's more of a flex player. Kamara, I'm starting him if he plays. If he doesn't play, I don't want to start any of the running backs that they have on their roster. Just a heads up on that. The Saints defense, I think you could flex them this game. I know it's not the best start, but if you got Denver on a bye or something, the Saints are out there, go pick them up. I think you're going to get some points from them. And then the kicker there, I'm not a big Ben Grupe fan, so I wouldn't recommend starting him. If you need him, fine, but I just don't. I think the Saints are going to be able to put up some points in this game, especially with the Falcons losing the safety. They're already banged up. They don't have Michael Penix. They don't have Drake London. They're going to be struggling on offense, so I don't know how many opportunities they're going to get. That's going to give the Saints more opportunities. For the Falcons, though, I'm starting Kyle Pitts. I'm starting Bijan Robinson. Flex players, you can flex Kirk Cousins as a number 2 QB in a super flex. I think he'll be okay. I don't think he's going to be dominant. He'll probably throw for around like 200, a touchdown, maybe 2, but 201. It's not a great start, but it's going to get you some points in a super flex. Not saying you have to start him. If you have a better – between Shuck and Cousins, I would almost start Shuck because of the receiving options being healthy. And that's saying something for how I feel about what Kirk Cousins offers to the table right now. So just a heads up on that about how I feel about the 2 quarterbacks in this game. But the rest of these guys, I'm not willing to start Gonzalez there, the kicker. He did all right last week, but like I said, I think this offense could struggle this week. Pitts is really, him and Bijan are really the only players you want from the Falcons. Olave, Juwan Johnson, Kamara if he plays, yes. Shuck, Cousins, they're both, if you're in a 2 QB league, you can start them, or you're in a 16-team single QB league and your guy's on a bye, they're worthy options of throwing in there. It's not like you're going to get zeros from them. The sneaky start for this game, though, will be Taysom Hill. Like I said, if Kamara's out or banged up even, Taysom Hill is going to be even more involved. If Kamara's out, Taysom Hill is going to be very involved. Devin Neal, I believe, will get some run. They got a couple other guys there that they can bring onto the field. But you ask me, I think Taysom Hill is going to be super involved. If Kamara is out, that's why he's a sneaky start. This is an if and. I think Taysom Hill will still be involved a little bit based on they're going to have more opportunities. That Saints need to put up some points. The defense could slow down the Falcons' offense. They're going to get even more and more opportunities. I think it's going to continue to get better for the Saints over the course of the season. Taysom Hill is a weapon for them. They can still use him, whether it's a receiving touchdown, a rushing touchdown, or he comes out and does some trick play and throws a bomb downfield to Olave. I don't really care. I just believe he's going to be involved, especially if Kamara ends up missing a game. So, sneaky start for that game, Taysom Hill. The last game is 4 p.m., Eagles versus the Cowboys. Eagles are 8-2. Cowboys are 4-5-1. Both teams coming off a win last week. Like I said, the Eagles are missing Lane Johnson. That's going to be noticeable, but thank goodness Cowboys don't have Michael Parsons anymore, so they don't have to really worry about a pass rush there. Starts for the Eagles, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley. Devontae Smith is dealing with a personal issue, but him and A.J. Brown have been flex players for me for about 6 weeks now. I'm not trusting either one on a regular basis, but it's hard for me to say you have to bench either of them. But if Devontae Smith does end up missing, he's traveling alone, so I believe he's going to be there. I believe he's going to play. But if something happens and he ends up not playing, A.J. Brown becomes a start. But right now I feel like Dallas Goedert, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts are really the only guys I have to get in my lineups. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, those are flex low-end number 2, number 3 wide receivers in your flex. Eagles defense, yes. Jake Elliott, yes. He's going to have, whether it's extra points or field goals, he's going to have plenty of opportunities against this Dallas defense. On the Cowboys side, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, absolutely. Javonte Williams, he's going to have a tougher day, so heads up on that. I'm not expecting him to go for 150 and 2 or nothing like that. That'd be great. I got him on my home team. I could definitely use it. I'm trying to make a comeback. But I think he's going to have probably like an 80-yard day and 3 or 4 catches and not have a huge day. He might get a touchdown. He might not. But I'm still willing to start him because he's been so damn good all season. So not saying anything like, oh, you got to get him out of your lineup. Just expect a lower day against this Philly defense. George Pickens, flexing him. Jake Ferguson, still flexing him. He hasn't been as good since CeeDee Lamb got back. Pickens is taking a little bit of a hit, but him and Lamb both had big days after that first drive benching last week, whatever that was, the waste of drive. If you wanted to say something, you should have sat him out for the whole damn game. That's just how it is. If you really want to make a point, they wouldn't be out for one drive. I hate that. Oh, he's out for one drive or he's out for one quarter, the first half, like they do in college all the damn time. Dude, just make him inactive. If you want to make a point to a player that missed curfew or whatever the case is there with the Cowboys, sit their ass. Now, the problem is you want to win games. So you can make them run some wind sprints all damn day and not ever tell anybody about this and not do this stupid first drive benching. Just have them have a hell of a day of practice on Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever you get back there. You guys get the run all fucking day and make them run till you throw up. That's what I'll tell them. Now, I don't know about the rules about this, how legal that is in the NFL anymore, but that would be my answer to it. Run till you throw up, and then you're done. Your punishment's over. Because taking them out for one drive, no, Dallas still won the game. They knew they could afford to not do it against the Raiders, that they didn't need them on the first drive. They came out, and I don't even think they got a first down. I think it was a 3 and out, but just a dumbass situation to me. Make a point or don't make a point. Having them off the field for 3 plays out of 72 plays or whatever it was, you're not doing much, man. That's not true authority, is my mind. So you want to make a point, bench their ass for the game, or don't bench them at all. Just going forward. But anyway, starts for this game, like I said, Dak, Javonte, CeeDee Lamb, all throwing in there. Pickens, Ferguson, both flex players. Oh, Brandon Aubrey is a definite start. The Cowboys defense, no thank you. Not against this Eagles offense. They're going to put up points, and I don't want to be starting the Dallas defense. Yes, they've been tough against the run. I think this is a game the Eagles are going to kick the shit out of the Cowboys. So my sneaky start for this game, Tank Bigsby. Speaking of kicking the shit out of him, the only way Tank Bigsby gets on the field more than a handful of plays is because the Eagles are up so much. I think this could be the situation where the Eagles just take care of the Cowboys. Bigsby gets involved. Let Barkley have the fourth quarter off or something like that, or they're just using Bigsby because it's in the second half completely because they've done their job. I think the Eagles need to make a point. They've been struggling to get consistency on offense and big plays, but they just go out there and win games, and they're going to continue to do that. I just feel like this is going to be a game that the Eagles defense could possibly slow down Dallas Cowboys offense. Next game, Sunday Night Football, Bucks versus the Rams. Bucks are 6-4, getting Chris Godwin back. Bucky Irving not back yet, but Godwin being back is definitely going to help them out. Versus the Rams, who just placed Tyler Higbee on IR. They are 8-2. For the Bucks, starting Baker, starting Emeka Egbuka, starting Sean Tucker. I believe he's going to be the starter for this game. I believe he's going to be the one to get the majority of carries for this game. Flex players, I believe that Rachaad White's worthy of a flex in deep leagues, not in no shallow leagues, though. Put him on your bench in shallow leagues. Cade Otton, Chris Godwin, these are both flex players. Godwin being back is definitely going to hurt Otton, but I don't think Godwin's going to be on the field 95% of the plays. I think this will be a ramping up period where it's still going to help the offense to have him out there for a handful of plays, but I don't think he'll be full throttle this week. So Otton is still a flexible player. The Bucs defense, not really wanting to start them this week. Chase McLaughlin down there, will put him in because I think it's going to be a possible field goal game. For the Rams, starting for them, I would definitely start Stafford, Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams. Those are all startable players for me. Flexible players for the Rams, I think the Rams defense, although I believe the Bucs are going to be able to put some points on the board, I also believe the Rams defense is so damn good that they could slow the Bucs defense down. And I'm not dropping the Rams defense because they're playing the Bucs. So I'm starting them. I'm okay with it, just expecting less of a big day. Harold Melvis, they've signed him to the active roster. We talked about this the other day. He's going to be their kicker. I'm going to be worthy of flex. He's a deeper league starter at kicker. So I'm not saying you got to go drop your starting kicker for this guy, but for the Rams offense, as much points as they put up, you want to have kickers on good offenses. That's why I'm willing to put both of these kickers in there. My sneaky start for this game, with the news that Higbee's on IR, Terrence Ferguson, the rookie. I love Terrence Ferguson. I think he should have been on the field a bunch already. He fits that Rams offense and their pass-catching styles perfectly. He can go in motion. Now, obviously, Davis Allen, Colby Parkinson are still there. Could still be a headache. Not saying Ferguson is going to have a huge day, but I think he's going to be involved in this game more than he has been. You could probably see him getting 4 catches, 40 yards, and a touchdown. So that's my sneaky start for that game. On to the Monday Night Football game. The 6-5 Panthers, which still shocks me they got 6 wins at this point. It's not like they're dominating. They're not 9-2 or nothing like that. But 6-5 is still impressive for this Panthers team based off what we saw last year. Liam Coleman is doing a hell of a job there with them. And definitely something I want to see keep happening, man. They take on the 49ers, who are 7-4. They just got Brock Purdy back last week. Ricky Pearsall came back last week. There was news this week that Ayuk's future guarantees have been voided. due to some kind of internal thing going on with them. I'm not sure if it's attendance at the practice facility, even though he's not practicing. I don't really know what's going on. I'm waiting to find out some more information. But I do know this. Brandon Ayuk probably won't be on the 49ers next year, and I don't think he's going to play this year. So if you got him on your bench on an IR spot, leave his ass there. We're done with you this season, Ayuk. I'm not expecting you to come back. Starts for this game. For the Panthers, Teteroa McMillan, yes. Definitely starting him. Rico Dotto, yes. Flex players for this game in a 2 QB super flex. If you're desperate, Bryce Young. Niners pass defense hasn't been superb. It's been decent enough, but this defense continues to get banged up. They just lost another linebacker to IR. So Bryce Young has a chance to score some points in this game. Just not expecting it, not wanting to start him, but if I need to, he's a flexible player, especially against his pass defense. And if McMillan can have another day like he did last week, Bryce Young's going to be able to put up enough points that you're okay with it. Sits for this game, Panthers defense, the Panthers kicker, Fitzgerald. I don't really want to start him this game. I just feel like this is going to be a lower scoring game overall. On the 49ers side, Brock Purdy, yes. George Kittle, yes. Christian McCaffrey, yes. Flex players, Juwan Jennings, okay. Ricky Pearsall, he had the goose egg last week. I don't know if he's going to get involved enough this week more than anything because I think they're still ramping him up. I don't think he was ready to be back next week. I think that was more of a, hey, let's get you active. Let's get you off the 21-day window because I think we're going to have to put you on IR for the season if we don't. George Kittle had a goose egg his first game back, so maybe Pearsall gets more involved this week, but just not willing to recommend it. And then the kicker, Matt Gay there, he just missed 2 kicks for Washington. That's why he got cut. That's how he ended up on San Fran. Not willing to recommend him. Pinero's out. No thanks. The San Fran defense, I do think you can start, and I think you'll be okay, be able to get some points. Even if Bryce Young gets a touchdown to McMillan, it's only 7 points you gave up. So they're banged up, but I still think they're a tough defense, and they could take advantage of this Carolina offensive line. My sneaky start for this game, last one of the week, Xavier Legette. Got banged up last week, but has been playing well the last couple weeks. He is active, no injury designation, so I expect him to be out there on the field, and I expect him to be involved, and he could be the difference maker in this game. He's a physical receiver, got the speed. His thing is about consistency, man. That's all it is to it. But in this game, he's my sneaky start, and I think you should put him in a flex spot if you need somebody. Other than that, guys, we're going to get out of here. Hope you're having a good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time you're watching. Until next time, I'm out. First down, Punts!